Now, I've done a lot of things in my time, certainly have. Talked about a great deal on this channel, anywhere from Xbox to Nintendo, some PlayStation, and now Steam Deck. But I think that there is an overarching conversation, because there's a lot of shifting and changing about that happens on a regular basis, that I want to have, which is the idea of attention, the idea of intention, and really the big capital W, lowercase hy, exclamation point, as to this whole thing. What's the change? Why the change? Seems like you had a good thing going for yourself. Now that you have a second kid, it looks like you're losing your mind. Well, for those of you dads out there, I don't think I have to say anything else other than 2 kids under 3 years old. Well, I guess one's 3, so 2 kids under 4. You'll get it. You'll get it. Anyone else, you might not. You eventually will. But there has been a lot of conversation as of late about I'm sorry, you're going to have to excuse me. I'm a little under the weather. I have a weird sinus thing going on right now. But also I'm like really happy because my kid just crushed his 9-month pediatrician appointment, like destroyed it, blew it out of the water, which makes me so proud as a dad. But also it's raining outside, which like uplifts me and makes me so happy, because I know that once I get all my work done today, I'm going to be able to listen to the rain. It's kind of cold and play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Oh, it just makes me so happy. So now that I got all that out of the way, the 10th generation of gaming, I've thought about a lot. Actually, it's talked about a lot. I don't know what generation you would consider the Nintendo Switch to be in right now. Some would say, that it's a part of the current gen system. I don't know. I don't quite believe that that's the case. It seems like it's maybe one behind. But there's something that's pretty clear when it comes to gaming and different generations and waiting for the next one to come out, and that's just that. There's a lot of time waiting, not just waiting, but speculating about what's on the horizon. And you end up becoming kind of a slave to the idea of you can't play what you want to play until the next hardware is released. And sure, you can let it cook for a while, and oftentimes the life expectancy of certain hardwares does last for a long time. I mean, look at the Switch. We just hit 7 years. Now, it for sure is feeling those 7 years, but still, we hit 7 years. The Xbox Series S, it's going to last a while. The X, well, the PlayStation 5, the PlayStation 4 before that lasted a great deal. So they last, but I'm getting to a point where the wait, oh my gosh, like what's next, what's on the horizon, has become so tiresome. And just looking online and seeing how gaming creators or people who are in this space, much like myself, are taking it, it turns into the rumor mill. What can we look forward to? And it's this continuous feeling of like, I just need the next best thing. That right there, as someone whose budget gets tighter and tighter, because as my kids get older, they eat more food, which, speaking of food, I've talked about it before and I'll keep talking about it. I'm starting to put together merch because it's a good way for you to support the channel and show that you're a part of the Play community. And a part of the Play community means that you're here to make a difference and be positive for gaming. But one of these, I get $4. With $4, I usually buy ground beef because we like ground beef here. So it's a good way to support the family. That being said, the idea, the looking at my gear and being like, I need the next best thing, started to become kind of a weight on me. And it created this sense of longing for something that wasn't there, that took away and robbed me from the actual doing of this hobby, which I've talked about and I really love to do. I love to play video games. And so I was like, how can I fix this? How can I fix this feeling? Can I just get rid of the FOMO completely? And, you can have great mental discipline and look at things and look at the next thing over and be like, I'm not going to yearn for the better. But that kind of mental discipline might be out of reach for some. And for me, certainly is. I know that, sitting with the Xbox Series S, even though I don't use it, I still will peruse the different stores looking for a good deal to get an X, right? I'll never buy it, but I do look. I consider, did I make a mistake returning this, that, and the other? And so I was looking like, what can really make the shift? Because I need to make a shift to keep this alive. And A few weeks back, the Steam Deck entered the whole gaming scene. It completely disrupted my way of interacting with video games. And so that took the forefront. But even before that, I thought, what is there that I'm missing in this space? As a dad, I need to be able to remove any sort of distraction that exists between the moments that I am able to participate in a pastime and the very pastime that I want to participate in. 8! Whoa! All the way down. Oh, no, that's not 8. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going emerald today. All right. All right. Keep that there. And that's when the idea of PC gaming entered the mix. Now, it seems wildly complicated. It's certainly not budget friendly when it comes to the initial purchase, but still, a lot of us older fathers, the budget-friendly aspect of things, though it's important because we need to make ends meet, we can't be out there frivolously spending on hobbies, but still, the idea of having a computer in the house, well, that's not asinine. That's certainly reasonable, and for a lot of us, we already have that. But then what about adjusting little itty-bitty pieces of that to make it work? Well, that was the thought. Before we jump more into that, I want to talk about the coffee we're having today. I'm going to pour some off. It's the same Feast Ayarza. It is a Guatemala. And for those of you who aren't in the coffee niche, I'm not in the coffee niche, but I was in coffee for a while. We call these, it's a Guatemala, we call them guats. So this is a guat. It's delicious. I'm very much so enjoying this, but I've yet to drink it the specific brew method. This is a Kalita Wave. It's more balanced, a lot more forgiving. The cup doesn't have as high highs and as low lows. It has a very rounded cup, but this coffee is so bright because it's a natural that I was figuring maybe I can take some of the top end off because it's a little too punchy for me and balance it out and maybe bring some more into the mids. And so that's what we're going to do with this from Redding, California. If you'd like to taste it, I got it through my subscription service, which I'm not affiliated with whatsoever. I do have a link below, which I think you get like your first bag free and then I get a bag from it. I don't know. I think my affiliate link even expired. Not affiliate link, but my referral link expired, which is free for everyone to get if you have a subscription. Anyway, this is by Feast Coffee and Culture, so you can just check out their website. It's a very good coffee. Very, very good coffee. Again, our Ayarza Guat. Okay, back to the idea. I always have, and I mean the commercial which I need to change, or the ad, or the trailer for this channel which I need to change, has been about console gaming. Console this, console that, console gaming. And when the Steam Deck entered the mix, I'm like, sick. Finally, I have a console version of PC gaming that I could use, because it was very much so a dumbed down, wildly simplified way to access games that you had on your Steam library. Now, there were two problems with the first introduction of the Steam Deck for me. One, certainly more clunky than it is now, but one is I didn't have a Steam library. And I was encountering the very first challenges that comes with subscription services, and that is that you are tied to those subscription services, and anything that you have behind those subscription services stay there unless you otherwise have access to them on different devices. Well, Xbox did a good job at making that open for PC, but Steam Deck, for the most part, doesn't run it as easily. All these things can be done because the Steam Deck is a computer, but it takes a little extra elbow grease that I just don't have yet. Okay. Ooh, yeah. That's nice. That brings down the top end quite a bit. Ooh, that's nice. That's like almost a different coffee. I'm into it. It might need to just loosen up a bit, but it's neither here nor there. And so when I started using the Steam Deck, I was like, this is a little bit cumbersome. Left it, came back to it. Now we all know how I feel about it. But there's just still something missing. And as I look at my gaming towers over there, which I'm slowly transitioning out of, I realized that what happened is over these years, the idea of, or the separation between the two systems, or the two styles of playing, a console and a PC, has started to blend together more and more. We're seeing a lot of games that would be usually exclusive to the console gaming experience from PlayStation coming over to PC or Windows. Yeah, not right away, but it does eventually come. I mean, we're getting one of the greatest titles that has released that is outside of the mainline games, Ghost of Tsushima. I think it's one of the greatest games, and underrated at most, but not at most, but underrated a lot. But this game is awesome. It's coming over to PC. A long time coming, really. It's been out for quite a while. But even some of my favorites, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ratchet and Clank, Horizon Zero Dawn, like these games are coming over to PC. And that's really exciting, right? Spider-Man, stuff like that. God of War, I could keep going. So we're seeing that the access to these games is opening up across the board, which is really, really nice. But I thought, nah, it's too crazy. I have my PlayStation, I'm good to go, I'm fine. Well, I look at the way that I play, and I don't know if you're like this too. If you are, I'd love to have a conversation in the comments below. It looks like there's a lot of you dads out there, but I look at the way to play, and since 2020, and we'll just leave it at that, since 2020, gaming has become something that a lot of us do, but also has been something that has been restricted to my library here, your office, whatever it may be. My gaming console is directly hooked up to the very monitor that I share with my computer. And so it's effectively in the very same place that I would be using a normal everyday computer. The reason why I don't is because I run Mac OS. I have Apple computers. I always have, because it's just what I grew up on, and as a creative, it is what I create on, but that is a completely different topic for a completely different day. But the more I thought about it, the more I looked at it, I'm like, I am effectively just using a different device. It is no different in its delivery, right? It is sitting on a desk, hooked up to a monitor that is stuck in a room. No different than the gaming that I would do on a PC. There are two big differences that exist, though, outside of that. One, it's only $500. Yes, if you add all three together, that's $350, and that is $1,200. But again, I would still own a Nintendo product otherwise. I currently don't know what the trajectory is for gaming for me fully. I can be certain that Xbox has had its time, and what it did was it reintroduced me to this very hobby, playing video games. Even with the Nintendo Switch, I still played video games, but the Xbox reminded me that there are more than just Nintendo titles that exist that I might want to play. Awesome. Then I got my hands on a PlayStation 5, and it reminded me that I really like story-based games. Holy smokes, do I like narrative games. They're my bread and butter. Don't care about Call of Duty. I go through phases where I really like it, and then I don't. Those usually last a couple of weeks. Fortnite is fun with friends, but that has even kind of died off over the past couple of years. And when it comes to any other multiplayer game, really where my heart lands is these stories. You see, I don't watch TV anymore. I've talked about that before. I don't really watch television shows, movies, or whatever, because I just don't enjoy what is being created right now. If it isn't about sex, then it's about some other nonsense that they're trying to make you think or push on you. And I'm just not into that sort of thing. And so I turn to video games for my entertainment. And if I really like movies, cinematic movies, then it goes in hand that I really like long, cinematic in some ways, but just good story-driven games. I've always leaned more into the JRPG style of games or adventure games, but hey, I just like those narrative pieces. This is the controversial statement. I don't believe that Xbox does that well, but PlayStation does. And so I have, for the past couple of decades, always found myself playing games on PlayStation. So when I got the PlayStation 5, I was like, sick, these games that I can't play elsewhere. And that's the big thing. I can't play these elsewhere. I can play on my PlayStation 5. I don't care about the Xbox that much. Sure, some games are available on both, Jedi Survivor, stuff like that, but there are more exclusives that I can't play on Xbox that I can play on PlayStation, so I'm just going to do that. Well, fast forward to 2024, and what we're seeing is there are even less differences between having access to some of these big story games from something like a Steam Deck or a PC and a PlayStation 5. Yes, Final Fantasy 16, PlayStation 5. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, PlayStation 5. I do believe that at some point both of those games will come over to PC, but they haven't yet, so here I am playing these on PlayStation 5. But if you were to ask me today, which you might as well just ask me, so you're asking me, what games are you looking forward to playing on your PlayStation 5 after Rebirth? The answer to you is none. I don't have any titles on there that I'm looking forward to play. Could I go back and tap into the subscription service to play some games that exist to me that way? Sure, but I would rather spend the $18 on a sale for a game on Steam where I can play it on my Steam Deck wherever I want in the house, or on a PC that I'm building out. But the biggest plus that I'm seeing in switching over to this style of play for me, and I'm not suggesting you do this, all I'm suggesting is that we're allowed to have an open dialogue about it, is that I no longer will have to wait for the next blank to come out for me to enjoy the game. I don't want to have this feeling of, should I buy this now because the next new one's coming out? I know that PC parts, there's things, new graphics cards, new processors, this, that, and the other, but at the end of the day, the top end versions of all of those components are not necessary in congruence or altogether in order to have a moderate to good, if not great, gaming experience. I'm not going to be playing games at maximum 4K as well as super 120 to even higher frame rates. The games I want to play don't really call for that. So, as I said the past few videos, the Steam Deck has completely fulfilled the very need that I have. I just also want to explore what it looks like to also do this on a standalone gaming rig. So that is why I'm exploring it more and more. But the 10th generation of gaming, whether there's a new Xbox system, a new PlayStation system, a new Nintendo system, really is starting to become more of a nuisance rather than anything else. I don't care about rumors, and chances are you don't either. The whole like, oh, the next thing's gonna come out, can you believe that they're gonna do this? I fell for it a few times, and every time it left me wrong and feeling like a jackwagon. So I don't even look into them anymore. And as I get older, the thought of being at the whim, the thought of having to wait on someone else's decision just is becoming more and more, I want to say juvenile, but it's not juvenile. It just feels like I'm not an adult. If I'm sitting here being like, oh, I can't wait to play this, hopefully they bring out better hardware, like, I don't want to feel that way. I want to be like, I just want to press a button and do it. I don't want to have to think anymore. I don't want to keep up with the race. I don't want to keep up with the, oh, did you get the next blank? I just don't want to. I want to say, hey, did you play this? Hey, have you played this? Hey, what did you think when you saw this? That is far more important to me, especially as a father. Plus, I mean, financially, if we're really going to talk about it, the long game really does favor that of PC gaming. As I ran the numbers and realized how much stuff costs now and how expensive games have gotten, it really does favor PC gaming now. Never would have thought that, and 3 years ago, I certainly would have not even approached this. I haven't, but a lot has changed in 3 years. 2 children, very different financial situation for everyone in the world. There's a lot that has changed, and priorities have changed drastically. My 3-year-old is a lot more self-sufficient and can handle sitting in a room next to me without me giving her my undivided attention for the whole day. Whereas my 9-month-old now, he needs a little bit more of that, but he's also better at playing with the toys in the room. So as long as I can watch him and make sure he's not shoving the cat's tail in his mouth, and my daughter is enjoying her few episodes of Bluey while I'm trying to hold back tears because Bluey's mom's sister is alluding to the fact that she can't have kids while playing Final Fantasy X, I'm happy. Honestly, I am. And if I want to have a better gaming experience, then and only then would I go, I'm going to head back into the library, boot up the rig, get after it, and have a good time playing video games at a better gaming fidelity, whatever it may be. Play maybe something that requires a little different of an input, get into an RTS, just change it up. Finally, play through Diablo 4 the only way I feel like Diablo 4 should be played, which is mouse and key, and do something along those lines. That excites me. That gets me going, so to speak. But also understanding that the requirements on my life, maybe on your life too, dads, is that type of gaming just isn't realistic on a regular basis. And while I very much so want to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth all day, every moment of the day, it's just not possible. I chose last night to stay up till 12:30 a.m. I never do that. I do not stay up past usually 11's my max, but I'm in bed between 9:30 and 10:30. No screens, nothing in the room. Just sit there and wait for my beautiful baby boy to wake up and scream so that my wife has to go feed him, and I sit there just feeling bad that I can't do much. Last night I stayed up late. I played the game. It was awesome. I had so much fun. But this morning and today I have felt sluggish. I have felt like there was quite a cost. I still had to work out. I still had to take care of my child, take him to his appointment, make food, eat food. Now I have to go pick up my daughter from her grandparents' house. I still have to do all these things. Nothing changes because I decided to stay up till 12:30 in the morning playing video games. I don't do that every day. I can't do that every day. And unfortunately, at this point in life, with 2 kids and plenty of responsibilities, playing video games in my office requires me to stay fixed in a location, and other parts of the day where I would otherwise be able to turn on a system and get after it, I can't. And so now having a system such as a Steam Deck where I want to pair that experience with a more higher fidelity one, I kind of am stuck with a piece of hardware that plays as is. So I do want to play something back and forth, a better one and the lesser one. Does that make sense how that works? It took the Steam Deck as well as a couple kids and some time to convince me that as of now, as of late, as of 2024, I believe that I have outgrown what it takes to maintain a fun, fulfilled gaming hobby at the console level. I just need something that is more capable of doing what I need it to do and allows me the flexibility to do it anywhere. And I believe PC Steam Deck allows me to do it. I also just don't want to give any more mental energy to Xbox and PlayStation when their next thing's coming out. Should you get a PlayStation Slim, PlayStation Fat? Should you wait for the PS Pro? I'm not that guy. I'm not. What should you do? Should you pick up a good game and play it? Yeah. Should you share that with a friend? Absolutely. Should you join the Discord because it's still open to everybody, and then share what game you're playing so that someone can inevitably say, I wanted to play that at some point too. Let me start it with you, and then you just made a friend? Yeah, you absolutely should. And for all of you people who have just met me these past couple of weeks, because it seems that there's a lot of you who are new to this channel, welcome. If you're new here and you haven't watched me for a while or watched this channel for a while, I make a cup of coffee and talk about video games. It's as simple as that. The reason why I do that is because I'm going to drink a cup of coffee, maybe 2 in a day. And in that moment, I just want to talk with a friend. I just want to enjoy this delicious cup of coffee and talk about this hobby that I've become overly passionate about in these past 4 months. I've been doing this since 2021, but for the past 4 months, I fell in love with this hobby because of the new access I have and some of the games that have come out and reminded me that good stories still do exist, and it doesn't just need to be a remake and remaster type of gaming experience, which I felt like was being done with some of my favorite consoles. Nintendo Switch. I hope that this resonates with some of you dads out there. And for those of you dads who are stay-at-home dads, work-from-home dads, who are just always looking for that moment to have to yourself, here's the sad truth. You probably won't have a moment to yourself, but understand there are plenty of other dads out there fighting that fight with you, next to you, in silence with a smile on their face, who just say, you know what, honey, I'm fine. And that is okay. We're going to get through it together. Play some video games, join the Discord. We're all here for you. And, drink a cup of coffee today, but most of all, oh yeah, happy gaming.